Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, and today's video is a new different kind of video. I thought it would be really cool to go back and break down the process I had of writing one of my original songs. And today I'm going to be focusing on This Is Me! Ta-da! Now, I do just want to apologise, I'm slightly losing my voice, which is why I might sound a bit croaky, but I thought I would take this time of rest to film a video. Why not? I haven't been sat down and filming for a while, and I really wanted to get back into it. So I'm going to be going through the whole process of how I came to write my song, This Is Me. Well, at least as much as I can remember of it anyway. But the process normally starts off not really planning on writing a song. Like, a lot of the time things will just come out of nowhere and I'll jot them down, which is why I just want to say now, the voice recordings app on a phone is just the best invention ever, because every time I just get something in my head, I'm like, oh, quickly record it on my phone and then I can listen back to it later. Such a genius invention, whoever thought of that. And that's where I store most of my kind of ideas for songs and stuff, and different tunes and melodies and lyrics. A lot of them are kind of labelled random tune 1, random tune 2, random line 1, random chorus about a house or something. They're all just ridiculous, and some of them are me when I'm not very well coming up with ideas, and you can hear my really squeaky pitched voice or my croaky voice, and it's quite embarrassing. So I thought you'd really have a laugh at that. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So when it comes to writing music for me, it's different every time, the process. When I wrote my first ever song, was that my first song? No, when I wrote my second ever song, which was a song called I'll Be There For You, which I wrote for my best friend, which I actually performed in a show in London last year, and I'll leave that in the description down below. Shameless plug in there. When I wrote that song, I actually wrote it probably over the span of like a year or so. It took quite a long time, compared to when I wrote Summer Song. I wrote that in about half an hour. Now I have no idea where that came from, but you see how it's different every time, it's never really the same for me. So when I wrote This Is Me, I wrote it, I think I must have wrote it within about a day or a couple days or so. It didn't take me very long. And I wasn't planning on writing it either. I made a New Year's resolution at the beginning of the year that I wanted to write more songs this year, and within the first 2 weeks I'd written 4 new songs. No idea where that came from. One of them is already out, This Is Me. Hopefully you will hear the others at some point. So with This Is Me, I started off with the words to the chorus. Now sometimes it's different. Sometimes I will think of a tune first. Sometimes I'll be playing at my keyboard and then just start playing a random tune and it will mount into something. Sometimes I'll have a line in my head and that will turn into a song. And with This Is Me, that was exactly what came first. I knew I really wanted to write a song about my autism and my mental health, and so I was kind of thinking in my head, what could I kind of sum it up as in a song? And then I was kind of just randomly thinking of different words, and this is the first voice recording that's on my phone. And I just want to apologise now. A lot of the time when I do voice records, I'm just like in a room with someone else, so I do it very quietly so that I can jot it down, but then they won't hear me, or I just do something like a bit naff just so I've got it written down in the moment. But like, obviously it's a voice recording note, so it's not going to be as good as the actual song. But anyway, stop rambling. This is the first voice recording I had. The world's a scary place, and sometimes I cannot face it.
But I have to embrace that I know that I will make it, 'cause I always do, I always do. I'll make it through, 'cause I know that I've got you.
I don't know what kind of, I was thinking at the end there, kind of channeling like old Taylor Swift vibes, I guess. But you can tell how that's completely different to how the chorus turned out in the end. It kind of started off to saying the world's a scary place. I guess that's kind of the line that was in my head predominantly, and I kind of worked off of that. And a lot of the time when you hear these voice recordings, I know where it's going to start and then I make it up as it goes along. So I had no idea that that's what I was going to sing or what would come out of my mouth. It just kind of how I was feeling it was going, and then I kind of each voice recording from then on kind of adapt off of it and change it until it becomes what it is. So that's what my original plan was anyway. Well, it wasn't necessarily the original plan, that was the first idea, I guess, that came out of my head. And then this is the idea I had for the ending chorus.
The world's a scary place, sometimes I cannot face it, and I will make mistakes, but I just have to embrace it. I'll learn to be the person I will be.
Oh, it's so cringy, it's so bad. But that kind of is similar to how the last chorus turned out in my song, but you can see where it differs. And I also just want to say, this is my songwriting book. I did have a pink one that said, what did it just said something like dreams on it or something, I can't remember. But this is my new one because I finished that one up. And in my notes version of the song, so this was when I was jotting down the ideas for it, I actually did the last chorus kind of in the perspective of someone else that's kind of a friend of the person with autism. So it was like, the world's a scary place, but I will help you face it, and you'll make mistakes, but we'll learn to embrace it. And it changed at the last minute. I kind of preferred the way that I took the song in the end. But that was interesting how I had a different take on it. So normally when I write stuff down in my songwriting book, I'll do the first couple pages kind of like my brainstorm and like the song as it goes, and I'll cross stuff out, change lines, make notes, and then when I finally got the final version of it, that's when I write it out neatly on the next page. And then I'll normally put, so like, I'll normally do a circle in the corner. Oh, can you see that? Focus. There you go. I'll normally do a circle in the corner for the key that I sing the song in, so that I know what key to play it in. And then sometimes, I wonder if I've got it in this book. Oh yeah. And then sometimes, this is a sneak peek of another song I've done. Sometimes, where did it go? Sometimes I'll write the BPM so that when I'm making the backing track, I can play all the instruments to the same beat and it will be in time. And that's especially helpful because sometimes I get my friend Cliff to play guitar for my pieces, and so I can just send him a clip track of the correct BPM, and that's quite handy. But back to This Is Me. This is the next voice recording, and this is the alternate ending I originally had for the chorus, which you can kind of hear me have some different ideas on the end of the previous voice recordings, but this was another idea that I had.
The world's a scary place, and sometimes I can't face it.
So you can see how the beginning kind of is the most similar to how it turned out now in this one.
'Cause I will make mistakes, I will be who I wanna be. 'Cause I know that it's gonna be me.
But I'm kind of glad I didn't go with that in the end, because I love it when a song finishes on the root note rather than kind of hanging on an unfinished chord. It just satisfies me, so I'm glad I didn't go with that. But this next one is the melody I was playing on the keyboard. So obviously if you've listened to my song now, which I hope you have, if not, why not, I'll put that in the description down below as well, because you should definitely go and check it out. But if you have listened to it, you'll recognise the riff in it that I came up with, which is do 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 da 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 do 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 do. And that's what it originally came to be. This was kind of me playing about with different ideas at the beginning, and this is kind of what I came up with originally. And it also kind of went into the verse as well as the accompaniment, but I'm kind of glad that I just stuck to chords in the end. But this is kind of my original idea for it. In my opinion, that one kind of gives me the vibe of a really fancy doorbell. I don't know why, that's just what it reminds me of. And it kind of developed from there. I didn't have any other ones of the accompaniment actually. A lot of the time when I'm coming out with these random voice notes, I'll be playing my keyboard at the same time, but I'll have my headphones in, because I find it sometimes easier to hear things when they're in headphones rather than out loud, which doesn't really make any sense. But a lot of the times I'll be playing along to it and I'll just say key of C, and then I'll be playing it through the headphones but then singing it out loud, which is why you don't hear the accompaniment a lot. But that was kind of what it started out as, and then I evolved it into what it is now. So this is an idea for the first verse that I had.
You don't know what it's like to feel so small in this life, but I am here. I won't disappear.
Which, as you can hear from it, it said at the end, what did it say? You don't know what it's like to feel so small in this life, but all I hear is I'll disappear or something, which makes absolutely no sense at all, does it? But I kind of, like I said before, I kind of tend to start off with an idea and then kind of just see where it goes and make up random stuff. And so it doesn't make any sense, but then it's kind of like I'll go back and listen to it and think, could I use disappear in the song? Or I just want to disappear, or I feel like I want to disappear, or things like that. So it doesn't make sense, but then you can kind of listen back to it and use it as ideas, because if I don't record it or write it down, then I'll forget it and then I'll be really annoyed with myself. This is the second idea that I had for the first verse.
You don't know what it's like to feel so small in a world where all is new. Do, 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 do.
So see how that's kind of forming together what the verse is in the song, and that's me singing the lines and then not knowing what to add as the words on the end, but then continuing on with what I think would be a good melody to keep the line going. And so then when I have the melody, I can kind of think, okay, what would fit in to that melody, what would work with the syllables, and kind of form the line together. And then this next one is the basis of the first verse, which I'd already come up with, and ideas for the second part of the first verse.
You don't know what it's like to feel so small in a world where all is new. It's not red and blue. You can't see what it's like for you and me when we're in there.
No idea where that was going, apparently. No idea where it was going now either. I just kind of was rhyming things with "you can't see what it's like for me," and then I kind of continued it off. A lot of the time it's just when you have a line, picking the last word of the line and then finding things that match with it. So I think it was in the chorus there's "the world's a scary place but sometimes I can't face it," and it was trying to come up with things that with "face it," and eventually I came up with "fake in," which is kind of a half rhyme, I guess, but it was really hard to kind of come up with something that still fit the theme and also rhymed with the line. So this next one is a bunch of ideas for the pre-chorus and the chorus, and it's a 3-minute song because a lot of the time I would just pause, go back and re-sing a bit and then see if anything would come on the end of it, and then if not, like try a different bit, and then I was just trying to come up with, again, a lot of rhymes to fit with the previous lines. So it's quite funny actually.
I see a bird flying by, I'm wandering off in my mind. I'm hearing that piece of music that's stuck in my head all the time.
So that's similar to the original.
I'm hearing the piece of, I'm singing the piece of music that's in my head all the time.
And each time I sing it, the tune kind of varies.
I'm thinking what's 1 + 1
And
I'm thinking what's 1 + 1 and what I had for breakfast today.
this is the one line. I just had so many attempts trying to work out what to sing. So many different variations.
That costume we made out of sand. I'm thinking what's 1 + 1 and
Originally, obviously, it was that time we were stuck in quicksand. But it took me a while till I got to that line.
I'm thinking what's 1 + 1 and the percussion I played in the band in school and
It's so cringy.
I'm thinking what's 1 + 1 and
But that just shows you, like, a good song doesn't just come instantly. Well, for some people
that
it
time
does.
when we stepped on the wetland.
But often times there'll be a lot of really bad,
That time when
ideas.
you fell on the wetland.
like that one,
That time that I fell on the court.
until you then come to the final song.
That time when you fell into dry land. That time you fell into. That time we almost got. That time that time we're stuck in the quicksand. But I forgot what you were saying, 'cause I know words are scary. But I forgot what you were saying to me, 'cause all I know is the world's a scary place. And I completely forgot that I was meant to listen. And I forgot that you were talking to me, 'cause all I know is
That line in the song where it's just before the pre-chorus and the chorus has always been my least favourite part of the song, just because I never really found a way to sing it that I was kind of happy with, and I just kind of left it how I ended it because I couldn't really think of a better version. But I always think, oh, I could have written that line so much better. But to be honest, it was better than all of those suggestions, so we're gonna go with it. Now this is how verse 2 originally came about.
When I step out of the door of faith, seeing a great unknown, I feel all alone.
So it's kind of similar to the original, except with worse lyrics. I'm glad that I evolved it, and I'm glad how it turned into the song it is now. And then this is ideas that I had for the bridge. So this is kind of how the song came together, which is usual for me to kind of start with the chorus, as I find that the easiest part of a song to write, and then kind of move into the other parts. I think I tend to normally write the chorus of a song first, then the bridge if there is one, and then the verses, which doesn't really make any sense really. You'd think you'd start from the beginning of a song and work your way to the end, but that's kind of how I tend to do it. The chorus is my favourite part of writing a song. I always struggle to write verses. I think it's because the chorus is the same and it's kind of got a general theme, whereas you tend to more have to be specific in the verses, and that's what I struggle with. But this is my ideas for the bridge that I had originally.
'Cause all I know and all I see is way near for me, and all I know I can do is listen to what you say.
So see how I kind of like have a rough idea of words in my head, and I kind of try and fill it out with a tune rather than just stop every time, just so I can kind of have an idea of what I want it to sound like, or kind of my ideas of how it could sound like, and then I can kind of fill in the tune with words afterwards, or kind of change the tune as I keep singing it over and over again. I might have a different idea or a better idea of how it should come together, and that's how it changes. So this is the bridge. The half of it is how it eventually came to sound, and the other half is kind of still my ideas of how it should end, kind of.
B minor.
See, that's because I'm playing from the headphones.
And all I see is I collect this to feed me. 'Cause all I ever wanted to be.
And then that changed into how the bridge is now. And a lot of it also, like I said, a lot of it is also written as notes in my songwriting book rather than as voice notes. It's kind of a mixture of both. I think more often than not you'll find that my ideas are as voice notes, but every now and then they'll be as songs. Like for for this first song, which will be coming out soon, which is written in the key of C sharp for some reason. Like, ugh, why did I do that to myself? And it has a complicated riff in it as well. But this one, all my ideas were on voice notes, and so when it came to writing the song, I could just write the finalised version straight into my book because I didn't have any written ideas down. But it changes with every song. So that's how the idea of my song came together. I then asked my two lovely friends, Emma and Lynn, if they would be in my video for it, as they both also have a diagnosis of autism, and that was really important to me to showcase that. And I had such fun making the video. If you want to see the original video, like I said, I'll link it in the description down below. But now I'm going to treat you to a live acoustic performance of my song This Is Me. And before I get into that, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below of if there are any other songs or videos that I have made that you would like to see me break down behind the scenes of, because this was really fun. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to receive notifications every time I upload a new video. I will see you next time, and without further ado, let's get on to the song. You don't know what it's like to feel so small in a world where all is new. It's not red and blue. You can't see what it's like for me to have 100 billion thoughts go round. I can't stop the sound. I see a bird flying by. I'm wandering off in my mind. I'm singing the piece of music that's in my head all the time. I'm thinking what's 1 + 1, and that time we were stuck in quicksand. And I don't know what's going on, but all I know, the world's a scary place, and sometimes I can't face it. And I might seem alright, but inside I'm faking, 'cause I just need a little time. Just let me be. I wouldn't change it for the world. This is me. Every time that I go to wave goodbye, I'm stepping into the unknown. I feel all alone. I keep to me all of my anxiety, 'cause I'm trying to feed right in, but I won't win. 'Cause what if I mess up? I'm not good enough. I'm indecisive. I am trying all I can to not give up. I get overwhelmed, thinking I don't belong in this world, but I keep it to myself, 'cause all I know, the world's a scary place, and sometimes I can't face it. And I might seem alright, but inside I'm faking, 'cause I just need a little time. Just let me be. I wouldn't change it for the world. This is me. Bye.